Oh, I guess I had my mic off. Let's see. Happy Halloween, everybody. I am trying to pull this up on YouTube. And let's see if I can get a link. And I can share it on. Let's see. I can share it on. Well, I'm still trying to figure out my new phone, so everybody bear with me. Share. Put it on Instagram. Whoops. Let's see if I can get myself situated here. There we go. We were lucky enough to get off work early. So I'm going to wait till we get some people in here before I do any stories. But I'm going to spend all of my candy money that I have on my tunes while we wait for people to arrive.
A cleansing fire! Time is short! I'll soon retire!
How many more candies do I have? 33. Okay. These are just outfits for the pets that I can get. We finally spent it? Good. Good. So I will... Because all this will end tomorrow before I get off of work. And so I will eat the rest of the candies. Because I can't sell them or do anything like that. And I need to change this to live chat. That will help. And just in case anybody is wondering, yes, I am wearing a wig because I was Rose Nyland today with some people at work. We did the Golden Girls, and I got to be Rose. So I did change my clothes because my outfit was not very cooperative, so I have to send it back. So I changed into something a little bit more comfortable to wear. And I can sell these.
May your feet find good trails.
And hopefully we'll get some people in here so we can do some stories.
Fire consumes. You've tried and failed.
Oh, they let the town burn. Shame on them. Very, very much shame. I know what I should have done. I should have changed this to that would have worked better. Okay. I probably beat everybody off of work. But that's okay. That'll give me a chance to get a few things done beforehand. I could. I don't know. This wig's not going very well with this headset. Uh-oh. Okay, how many candies do we have? We have 31 on this one. Okay. So... Ha 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 ha. Let's see. Is there anybody out there? I'm sure a lot of people are alive tonight too. Ooh, look at the green glow. Very cool. Let's see if we can get up here and I should. Well, I don't really. Yeah, I could turn the music on. Let's see. Back in St. Olaf. Back in St. Olaf. Let's see. System. Put the music back on. Okay, I guess we'll go spend. Sounds like somebody's screaming. I hope they're okay. You're a cute kid. In your little costume. Your tiki mask costume. Okay. We have one piece of candy to eat. Let's see. And we have masks to put on. And good piece of candy.
I have many lucky doos. You like?
I have many lucky doos. Do you like? So tomorrow starts BlizzCon, and I will be covering that stuff after I get home from work. And that will run through Saturday. And that I can't sell either. We're cleaned up on that one.
Farewell, friend of the Grummel.
Farewell, friend of the Grummel. Well, at least you're polite. I guess that's part of what we paid for in our 120,000 gold mount. That became very useless after we paid for it. Okay, this headset with this wig is kind of itchy. I don't know how long I'll last, but we'll find out. Let's see, that looks good, that looks good. No dropped rate, that's good. What do we have on this one? One candy. We will just eat it. And we will go through the masks. And
Prepare yourselves. The bells have tolled.
shelter your weak, your young, and your old.
Each of you
Shall pay the final sum. Cry for mercy. The reckoning has come. He's one of my favorite characters in this game. He has a wonderful, wonderful voice. I really wonder who the voiceover for it is. Make sure we didn't need that. Okay, nope. I gotta get rid of those. Spearmint candies will not last. Just wasting bag space. So are these. They stay, but I don't need them for anything. And nerds candy.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummles. Like you.
And uh-oh. I did not mean to click that. Oh, uh-oh. Nope.
I have many lucky doos you
Let's see if we
like.
can sell these real quick. Yes. Alright. Next character. Can you imagine Rose Nyland playing this game, being on YouTube? Never happened. I don't know if I finished the candy buckets on this one or not. I will have to check. Do 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 do. All right. Yep, I did finish everything I could get to on this one. And we have 3 candies. I will eat them. Ooh! And that was enough to puke. Well, I'm ugly enough to... That makes sense, I suppose.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummles. Like you.
Oh, yes, many deals. For a friend of the Grummel. Let's see, I don't need that. Or that. I need to
Many farewells.
get rid of that. That. And that. Let's see, and we'll go through these masks. Let's see.
I have many, many wares.
I have many, many wares.
Die.
Not really.
Not a spark. I shall send you
Uh-oh.
myself
They beat
to
him.
the lifeless dark.
Very good. They put out the fire
Good
in the
fortune
town
to our friends.
from the Headless Horseman. Do 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 do. The slaughterhouse.
So eager you are for my blood to spill, yet to vanquish me, 'tis my
Oh, they're
head
fighting him now. I hope they beat him. Okay, Warlock. Do, do. Come on, guys, where y'all at? Are you all still at work? If so, I feel very much bad for you. Come on, come on, come on. I want to get done with these quickly. I'd rather get as many candy buckets in as I can. Candies too. I think I finished this. Does this say? Yep, I'm done with this one. I did pretty good this year, I think. Put on the masks. I get rid of that. What else? What else? What else can I get rid of? I'll eat the candy. There's not enough there to puke. I'll have to wait till next year to get that achievement. Let's see. Oh, I have masks over here. And all these things to get rid of. Oh, and I better open these. Oh, that's enough to puke. Yep, I did. And it won't let me eat anymore. Okay, I needed that. And come on, guys, where's everybody at? Poor Wyo has to work tonight. What a pity. What a pity, what a pity. Somebody got something. Oh, I don't need these either. Make sure I clicked these masks. Oh, I didn't need to eat that. Oh well, it does not matter. Wish we could get some people getting in here so I can start the story. Do I need to use this? I do. Oh, I picked those up. I need to pass it on to the next one, I guess.
Nelly deals for a friend of the Grummles, like you.
You know, you say that all the time. Do 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 do. Man, I hear something. I don't know what that is I hear going on. Let's see if I can eat these candies now. Oh, I guess I better put that
Nelly, farewell.
mask on.
I have many lucky doos you like.
And then eat the candy. It still won't let me eat the candy, really? Why won't it let me eat the candy? Oh, I have an upset tummy. I forgot about that. Well, I guess they're just going to have to disappear. Because I think, yep, I'm ready to go to the next character. Alright, I know somebody's out there. Who's out there lurking? Say hello! Happy Halloween! Well, you didn't have to leave because I said something. Oh, or somebody's popping in and out. Both my puppies are being very, very good. And they are laying. I took them out to the bathroom. I fed them. Their belly's full. I did not give them a treat, but I guess that can wait till they wake up. I'm okay with that. Sign into chat. What's going on? Why wasn't I signed in? Sign into chat. Are you kidding me? I must be having the same problem. Chat is not signing in. Live chat. Very weird. Why won't it let me do that? Well, I might have to reassign myself to YouTube on Streamlabs. What is going on with... I bet it was the update. I bet it was the update. Where is the portal? Come hither and yon. Let's see. Borean Tundra. Yep. Do 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 do. All right. Let's see where we have to go. But I know it's not here. Let's go. Oh, there's people popping in. Now all of a sudden we have 5 people, but I can't get signed into chat. What's going on with that? It will not let me sign into chat. Come on, you silly, silly Streamlabs. Guess I'm gonna have to make sure I'm logged into YouTube to be able to type, which kind of sucks. Let's do this. Let's see. This is terrible. I certainly hope they get this fixed. Let's mute that before it makes a problem. And live chat. And okay, there's peoples out there. Say hello. Nobody's getting a story until we get some people saying hello. Lock. Everybody must be shy today, unless chat's not working. But it can't not be working in 2 places. Highly doubt that. 3 places. I highly doubt that. Let's see. Looks like we're flying. Fly like the wind.
Hello.
To be free again. Oh, I have quests to turn in there. Besides picking up the candy bucket. Hello, everybody out there. Happy Halloween. No need to lurk. You can say hello. Hi, get lost, you suck. It does not matter. We have a little bit of a flight path here. It looks like it's going to take a couple of minutes. Let's see. Make sure I'm not missing any messages. Hello, hello, hello. So yes, we are going to have a story about the Lemp mansion. Actually, I'm going to read an article. It's kind of a long article, but it gives the whole history of it. That way, if you're ever in this area, you should stop by. I have a bit of my own actual story to share from last year. So, hopefully, everybody will find it interesting. Of course, I find it more interesting because I live here and it is here, and it's been on a few shows, so I'm quite sure that some people have heard about it. Do 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 do. Hello, hello, hello. This is pretty funny. If you're reading this, you have survived the purge and you didn't get fed to the old gods. Remember to log into your tunes within 28 days to avoid being sacrificed to the old gods. They're not exactly truthful with that. Because I have characters that was in this guild that got purged that had been logged in within a couple of days, not just 28 days. Come on, everybody. Actually, I want to wait for Maria to get in here before I do the story. So hopefully Maria will get in soon. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right, let's go. Ooh, we should start fresh. Let's start fresh. No costume. And this one is inside. I think it's easier if I went the other way, though. But that's all right. Let's see, I think the other door is over here. Oh, that is not the door I want. This is the door I want. Let us enter. It turned me into something, but I don't know what. I have to open the candy. My inventory is full. Yes, Wyo. It's the story of my... Oh, I got turned into a slime.
I have many, many wares.
That is not attractive. Heck no. Okay, let's try this. What on earth just happened?
I have many lucky doos. You like?
I have many lucky doos. Do you like? Not really. Not really at all. Lucky doos are so Miss a Pandaria. Let's see. really don't, there we go, want to be in that form because I need to put these face masks on. There we go. Get rid of these. Where did everybody go? Everybody's so quiet tonight. It's Halloween. Everybody should be having fun. And we'll have fun, fun, fun. Till my daddy takes a T-bird away. Alright, let's get some shenanigans going.
I have many, many wares.
I have many, many wares. I don't even know what that means because I don't really feel like you have many wares. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different items that you sell. Which is less than a drip in a bucket compared to the amount of items there are in the game that you could possibly buy. So I think that you, sir, are a liar. I probably should queue for this dungeon though while I'm on this character, because it will give me some XP. Which is good for me. Alright, let's see. A little bit to go. Come on, people. Whoever's out there, share it. Send it out. Let's get some people in here. Because I'm going to wait. Let's see. Yes, I will wait until I've been streaming an hour to get the story going. Give everybody a chance to get in here. Get home from work and get settled. Oh! There's my dungeon queue. Let's go kill the Headless Horseman. Why? Because we can. And we can get a loot-filled pumpkin head bucket. What level is this character here? 82. Come on. DPS! Don't go to the bathroom and miss your cue! Click it! Ah. Ah, he took too long in the bathroom. Come on. Now the tank needs to click. Come on, tank. Don't get upset because the last DPS did not click it. Oh, there we go. Do, 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 do. Let's see what we got. Oh. Who is that? A hunter? What the heck was that thing he was doing? Oh, he was probably summoning. Yes. We hear you. And we're going to kill you. Where did you throw your head? Now your blackened souls I'll cure. It's over here, you idiot. Oh, there it is. Now your blackened souls I'll cure. Make a victory at last for this fallen knight. I think I'm going to have to take this wig off.
What new adventure?
It is just too much. And it's too itchy. What do we get? What do we get? Nothing? Yes, we got a mask. That is unimportant. Okay. I am going to... Ha! Ha! I am going to take off my wig. Because it is driving me insane. So, put that there. Now, let's see. Sorry about that. If there was some extra noise putting my headset back on. Ha! Now I'm back. Okay, this feels much better. That was really getting itchy on my ears. So, oop, there is a flight path to pick up. Let's pick it up. Candy buckets in here. Bloop, 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 bloop. Let's see, where are we going now? Move that out of the way. Do, 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 do. Stay on track. Scalding pools. Yeah, they probably would scald you. Hello, hello, hello. Beginning to wonder if the dang chat is broken. Because nobody has yet to say anything. Live chat. Yeah, I don't even live chat. I don't even see any comments on that one. Psst, 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 psst. Oh, oh, we're gonna overfly it. No, 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 we're not. Where's the entrance? Uh-oh, I have a sneeze coming on. Holy moly, cats! I thought my head was gonna go rolling like the headless horseman. Whew! Candy, candy, candy buckets. Alright. Woo! Let's go get the flight path. And... Candy bucket! In Sholazar Basin, that's where we will head. Nesting Wary Base Camp. That's where the Hunter lives. Makes you kill all the animals for their skins. For his quest. It's a very good quest to do if you have a Skinner. Not to be confused with the Stephen King book, Thinner. I wonder why in the world Streamlabs is not connected to the chat. Need to see what I got here. Tricky treats and nerds. I do not want to fly over Winter's Grasp. Let's see if I can take a flight path to save myself from falling. Falling in love. Okay. I don't have the... Yeah, he should be a flight path. Is he a...
Hey!
Nope. Not yet. We'll go this way. We'll go the safe route. Do 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 do. Because I do not want to get caught over winter grasp. That, for me, usually means imminent death. Because Blizzard doesn't like me and usually does not give me my parachute. Not normally.
How are you?
Where? Oh, I do not have a flight path, but I can go here and cut over, and that should work. Let me see. Let me see. Uh-oh. She evidently did not get to leave when I left, and that is not nice. Whoops, I do not like that. Let's see. Oh, I'm on a flight path, so I'm good. Ha 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 ha. Let's see. I wanted... that's not really what I wanted to do. Not exactly, anyway. Okay. Now let's see if I can straight shot it. I wonder... Like she's act like she doesn't know what I'm talking about. Seriously? Do you ever have those moments where you wonder if anybody listens to the things that you say? Because sometimes I just wonder. And I am not on the right map, so I can't tell where I'm supposed to go. It's pretty good music. Not very spooky, but it's pretty soothing. Uh-oh. What's going on with the dogs? Like they got slave labor out there. Sounds like they're tink, tink, tink. Pickaxing something. Maybe it's the blacksmith. I'm a Nerubian, which is like an uglier spider ant cross mix. I don't know how they come up with these names sometimes. But it looks like a mix between an ant and a spider. over, move it. There we go. We're going to the harbor area. Now where are we going? I think me friend she's eating dinner. So I'm gonna have to wait a little bit to read the story. But in the meantime, you know, I should look up that. Well, I guess it's basically a torture house. I don't know what else you would call it, but it kind of reminded me of a movie that I watched with my husband. Place that you have to get a medical clearance and sign a 40-page waiver, and they'll pay you $20,000 if you get through it, and it seems to be like it's a torture chamber. I don't know why anybody would put themselves through that. I mean, $20,000 is not worth getting, you know, a limb or a finger or broken or cut off or, God, whatever they do. I don't know. What did I get? A wand. Tricky treats. Well, I should be able to buy... be able to buy at least one more toy. We'll see. Oh, and I leveled. That's even better. Flying to... I should pick up that flight. I did not pick up that flight path over here, I bet. I bet I forgot. Yep. I bet I can fly straight. Yep, I can. Let me see if I can look up the... So let's see. It says here, McCamey Manor, torture on demand. An hour south of Nashville sits one of the nation's most notorious extreme haunted houses. It's crazy. Before he gets started, the first thing Russ McCamey has to do is call the cops. From the front porch of a trailer in Summertown, Tennessee, he dials a number. Lawrence County Dispatch, the woman answers. I'm going to mute this other sound. And informs the operator he's about to start his show. Please, if you get any crazy phone calls from the neighbors, let's see. Get any phone calls from the neighbors, don't come out here guns a-blazing, says McCamey. We had that happen once before. We don't want to do that again. The operator laughs. Yes, we were working that day, she says. McCamey has been in Summertown for less than a year, but local authorities are already very familiar with him. This was from 2018. Let's see. He's the owner of McCamey Manor in an extreme haunt that dares adrenaline junkies to subject themselves to the wildest physical and emotional challenges he's capable of conjuring. All it costs for the privilege is one 50-pound bag of dog food, which McCamey, a dog lover, donates to a local animal shelter. One McCamey Manor promo video from 2013, a supercut filmed at the Manor's previous location in San Diego, shows blood-covered horror seekers eating cockroaches, vomiting, and begging to be released from macabre contraptions that seem straight off the set of Saw. The clip has more than 14 million viewers. Another video with 2 million plus viewers features a guy named Steve having what looks like a panic attack. Nobody should effing do this. He stammers. Nobody should do this. I just died. People from all 50 states and others from as far away as Europe and Kuwait have traveled to experience McCamey Manor, which came to Summertown after spending more than a decade in San Diego. The House of Horrors has been profiled by the Los Angeles Times, The Guardian, and the New York Daily News, and it's been featured on the Travel Channel's Halloween Craziest and in a full-length documentary, Haunters, The Art of the Scare, which is currently evidently available on Netflix. Of course, that's last year. I don't know if it still is. But no one in Summertown seemed to know what the manor was when McCamey moved to town in the spring. After just a few weeks in his home during his second show in Tennessee, cops charged onto the property after a witness reported seeing a screaming woman being dragged from a vehicle. The woman was there consensually, and the cops left without incident, but McCamey now has an agreement with authorities. He'll give them a heads up whenever he's scheduled to give a tour. The dispatch operator thanks McCamey for calling and hangs up. Now, the show can begin. The victim on this rainy Saturday afternoon in February is 23-year-old Brian Vanover. He and his wife Stephanie drove roughly 11 hours from their home in Tampa so that Vanover could take a stab at the outrageous challenge and maybe even win the $20,000 prize that comes with surviving all the manor's obstacles. And my God, there are a lot of obstacles. Between his 2-acre lot in Summertown and a mysterious second location in Huntsville, Alabama, McCamey won't say much about that one. McCamey says he owns all manner of courses and contraptions designed to push people to their breaking points. Some visitors might have to swim through a 200-yard muddy trench that's home to a few caimans, including a 2.5-foot male named Ralphie. He's a biter, McCamey warns. Others might take a dip in a giant tank full of moray eels that won't bite you, but they will wrap around your face. You may be exposed to mind-altering drugs or weapons like whips, paintball guns, and tasers. McCamey also apparently has a vast assortment of bugs, including cockroaches, bees, crickets, mosquitoes, all waiting to eat and or be eaten. But before a contestant makes it through McCamey's Manor's door, he or she must go through the tedious process of reading aloud and signing a 20-plus page legal waiver that lists more than 100 disgusting, dangerous, and disturbing scenarios they might face. The contract itself is so daunting that some people quit right there. But Vanover is enthusiastic, almost giddy. Wearing a Rick and Morty onesie, everyone taking a McCamey Manor tour does so while wearing an adult onesie. Vanover reads and initials each item. Number 28, Vanover says with a boastful tone. Participant fully understands that by signing this waiver, they are giving McCamey Manor permission to keep nothing off the table except sexual or inappropriate situations. Everything else imaginable can and will happen inside McCamey Manor. Initialed. Number 29. Participant agrees to and has full knowledge that if selected to visit the barber, participant may leave McCamey Manor completely bald, including eyebrows. Initialed. Number 20. Participant agrees and acknowledges that mousetraps are used on the tour, which may result in bruising or breaking of fingers. Initialed. Vanover's job has prepared him for this. He's in emergency mitigation, cleaning up everything from sewage and black mold to long decayed bodies. He's used to maneuvering through unsettling situations. In the hours it takes to make it through the waiver, he agrees to exposure to extreme temperatures. Number 73. Having plastic wrap tightly held over his face. Number 74. And having his hands and feet zip-tied. Number 75. The only thing Vanover won't stand for, everyone gets to pick 2 freebies, is tooth pulling and needles. McCamey hesitates to let... Hey, Eminem Mama, you're between children. Okay, well, I'm reading about this torture haunted house place. I am... it's unbelievable. Okay, so he got his 2 freebies. McCamey hesitates to let Vanover call no needles, dramatically hemming and hawing about how it'll mess up the show, but McCamey finally agrees, reassuring Vanover that he can just drug him orally if need be. Every hour or so, McCamey pauses the contract reading, which lasts from 2 until 8 p.m., to put on a show. With the help of his 19-year-old assistant, Austin Graham, McCamey jumps into a Facebook Live feed to post videos of Vanover getting covered in vicious fake blood, eating mysterious, stinky canned seafood, and singing Elton John's "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me" at the top of his lungs. Those watching, many of them past McCamey Manor participants themselves, cheer and jeer his efforts. Even though Vanover is the one doing all the dirty work, McCamey, even from behind the camera, is the star of the show. He looks like a less Hollywood Ron Perlman. He's tall, maybe 6'5", with a broad stance, and his straight silver hair is cut high and tight. He talks like a cross between Violet Beauregard's motor-mouthed car salesman father in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and the Devil's Rejects excitable Captain Spaulding. McCamey never curses. That's one of his rules. No cursing. He's at times comforting. I can guarantee you will not be tortured. And at times menacing. I can get inside your noodle. I can make you hallucinate and do all kinds of crazy stuff. Toggling between the two moods with eerie but admittedly entertaining ease. While the shocking video footage gets people's attention, it's McCamey's charisma that has helped build his following of thousands of fans from all over the world. But in Summertown, the quiet, unincorporated community that sits 70 miles south of Nashville, his big personality hasn't won him quite as many fans. Lawrence County officials have been getting complaints. Anti-McCamey Manor pages, videos, and petitions have continued to pop up on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. And while McCamey sees many repeat visitors, not everyone who survives the manor leaves happy. Some say what they lived through was downright torture, a nightmare that included waterboarding, severe beatings, broken bones, and being held captive long after they'd called out the agreed-upon safe phrase. He might be trying to start anew in Tennessee, but McCamey's past in San Diego still haunts him. That's interesting because I did not know that it was previously in San Diego. But that is quite interesting. All right. We're going to do some more candy buckets before we talk about the Lemp Mansion. I wonder if Emina Mama's getting a lot of kids at her house. I have to go inside there in the corner. Hey, local police just drove up, turned on lights, and then gave kids candy. Pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome. But this is not the right place for the candy bucket. White acted like I needed to go to this building. Let's see. Uh-oh. I got tricked. 9 so far. Well, it's not even 7 o'clock yet, so that's not too bad. Boy, this snake doesn't move very fast. The underbelly. Seriously, I cannot speak. Goodness gracious. I had to take my wig off. It was too itchy with the headset. I couldn't do it anymore. So I guess if you ever needed to torture me, put a wig on my head and make me wear a headset. Of course, maybe I probably shouldn't advertise that on YouTube. But that's okay. Fly to the Stone Peaks. I should be fairly close to getting this area done.
Can I assist you?
Oh, looks like I don't have a lot of fight pass up there though either. Oh, and I plan now to click the candy hand because I'm flying. I'm going to. There is a pretty long article about the Lemp Mansion I'm going to read. I'm sure it's quite fascinating. I guess we get a little more spooky music here. What do we get? A Tauren male mask and a tricky treat. Ha! That is a very pretty sky. Very pretty sky. Definitely more pretty than the sky we've had today. Although it was sunny and the sun was like really coming out when I came home. It didn't start out that way when I left work. I hope it makes it better for the kids trick or treating. Oh, what did dogs switch places? I don't see Lemon back. Yeah, they did. Lemon is back there, but he's not on that side of the pillow. I don't know why I'm in such a good mood. Maybe because we got off work early. Although traffic was not that great. I have to admit. I hope my daughter's having a good time. Let's see, where are we going now? Okay, over here. Oh, nope, we're picking up this flight path. I knew there had to be one here. I think, maybe I'll read the Lemp the Lemp Mansion thing in stages, because it's like 6 pages long. But I'm quite interested in it. And then I'm gonna freak you out with the story that happened to me last year. There's a flight path here, but I don't think I have the... Okay, I want this... I want a jack-o'-lantern like this, right here. I love the way that the witch hat fits on it. I want it just like that. Oh, I have to fly up over this one. The next time I can take a flight path, I will get into the Lemp Mansion discussion. But for anyone who does not know, the Lemp Mansion is located here in St. Louis. One minute and counting. I love this Maker's Mark area. Terrace of the Makers. Oh my gosh. It is so vast and huge. We should have player housing or guild housing that is like this area. Uh-oh, looks like a storm is a-brewing. I see lightning. I see stars, I see Mars, I see someone's under draws. So my daughter used to sing that quite a bit. I think, oh, there's a flight path right here. Make sure we snag that sucker. Yes. Grab the candy and run. No trick or treat for you. Add 7 more. That's awesome.
Goodbye.
It's getting to be about that time. 7 o'clock. You start getting more. 7 to 8 will be your prime time. It would be very cute if you get another little one that takes the flashlight out of one of your bags. Where are we going? All the way down here. We haven't opened up that area either. I still can't figure out why my chat doesn't work. Pretty much sucks. I'll have to look into that tomorrow. Nah, one did try to take Pumpkin already. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta love the cuties. The little cutie children. They are so cute. And, you know, you kind of can't blame them, because... Oh, pretty. Let me look at it. And flashlights just fascinate the heck out of them. Not the worm. Not the worm. Oh, I gotta go pick up that flight path.
Hey there.
Yeah, I don't have
Later.
any other. I have to wait for this 22 seconds. Yeah, I guess I have to. I can't squirm very far in 22 seconds. There we go. Ha! Oh, my nose is itching tonight. It should be my head. A silly wig. Come on, let's go get this candy bucket. I want to get on a flight path so I can start reading this story. Holy cow. Uh-oh. Nope. Nope. Flight path? Yes? Nope. I don't have any flight paths down there. What does that one drop out? Oh, it took me more than 150 to get that one. Psst. My friend got it in 2. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I think these people are BSing in the guild. I think these boys got their tape measures out. Grizzly Hills. We're gonna go all the way down there. I could listen to those all day. Candy bucket. Uh-oh. Oh, somebody's as ugly as I am. Look at that. Now look, if I'm going to be ugly, I should at least be the ugliest of them all. Oh, he must be a hunter. Yup.
Strength and honor.
And I don't have
Victory.
a flight path. So we should have stopped at that one first. Tigor, if you're out there, you should change this to go here first and then the other one, because this order does not make sense. Boy, these dogs are pooped, which is probably good. And I got home and my porch light was on. My husband did not turn off the porch light. I understand that it was rainy and yucky today. But, yeah, we're not handing out candy. We don't want people coming up to the door going, bloop, 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 and expecting candy, because I left the candy at work anyway. So I don't even have any candy here to hand out. If I could get to the point where I would hurt and get on a flight path, I could start reading my story. Blizzard, you are not cooperating with me. We need a toy that gives us flight paths in this area like the old areas do. There it is. I feel like I got changed into something else. There's the flight path. Can we fly? Yes! Flight path! Thank you! Thank you very much! Now, I'm gonna mute this. We can, actually, if I mute it on here, that will probably be better. Open volume mixer. Mute it. Alright. The haunted Lemp Mansion in St. Louis. Said to be one of the 10 most haunted places in America. Get that? 10 most haunted. The Lemp Mansion in St. Louis, Missouri continues to play host to the tragic Lemp family. Over the years, the mansion was transformed from the stately home of millionaires to office space, decaying into a run-down boarding house, and finally restored to its current state as a fine dinner theater, restaurant, and bed and breakfast. The Lemp family began with Jahan Adam Lemp, who arrived in St. Louis from Eschwege, Germany in 1838, building a small grocery store at what is now Delmar and 6th Streets. He sold common household items, groceries, and homemade beer. The light golden lager was a welcome change from the darker beers that were sold at the time. The recipe handed down by his father was so popular that just 2 years later he gave up the grocery store and built a small brewery in 1840 at a point close to where the Gateway Arch stands today. Lemp first sold his beer in a pub attached to the brewery, introducing St. Louis to its first lager. Before long, Lemp found that the brewery was too small to handle both production and storage, and found a limestone cave south of the city limits. The cave, which was located at the present-day corner of Cherokee and DeMenil Place, could be kept cool by chopping ice from the nearby Mississippi River and depositing it inside, providing perfect conditions for the lagering process to run its course. Lemp's Western Brewing Company continued to prosper, and by the 1850s was one of the largest in the city. In 1858, the beer captured first place at the annual St. Louis Fair. A millionaire by the time of his death, Adam Lemp died on August 25, 1862, and his son William began a major expansion of the brewery. He purchased a 5-block area around the storage house on Cherokee above the lagering caves. In 1864, a new plant was completed at Cherokee Street and Carondelet Avenue. Continually expanding to meet the product demand, the brewery eventually covered 5 city blocks. By the 1870s, the Lemp family symbolized both wealth and power as the Lemp Brewery controlled the St. Louis beer market, a position it maintained until Prohibition. In 1868, Jacob Fikert, William Lemp's father-in-law, built a house a short distance from the Lemp Brewery. In 1876, William Lemp purchased it for his family, utilizing it as both a residence and an auxiliary office. While the home was already impressive, Lemp immediately began renovating and expanding the 33-room house into a Victorian showplace. From the mansion, a tunnel was built from the basement through the caves to the brewery. When mechanical refrigeration became available, parts of the cave were converted for other purposes, including a natural auditorium and theater. This underground oasis would later spawn a large concrete swimming pool with hot water piped in from the brewery boiling house and a bowling alley. At one time, the theater was accessible by way of a spiral staircase from Cherokee Street. By the middle 1890s, the Lemp Brewery gained a national presence after introducing the popular Falstaff beer, which is still brewed today by another company. The Lemp Western Brewery was the first brewer to establish coast-to-coast distribution of its beer. At the same time he was building his own business empire, Williams Sr. also helped Pabst, Anheuser, and Busch get started. In the midst of this success, the Lemp family experienced the first of many tragedies when Frederick Lemp, William Sr.'s favorite son and heir apparent, died in 1901 at the age of 28. Frederick, who had never been in extremely good health, died of heart failure. The devastated William Lemp was never the same. Beginning a slow withdrawal, he was rarely seen in public after his son's death. On January 1st, 1904, William's closest friend, Frederick Pabst, also died, leaving William indifferent to the details of running the brewery. Although he still arrived at the office each day, he was nervous and unsettled. His physical and mental health began to decline, and on February 13, 1904, he shot himself in the head with a .38 caliber Smith & Wesson. In November 1904, William Lemp, Jr. took over as the new president of the William J. Lemp Brewing Company. Inheriting the family business and a vast fortune, he and his wife Lillian began to spend the inheritance. Filling the house with servants, the pair spent huge amounts on carriages, clothing, and art. Lillian was a beautiful woman who came from a wealthy family herself. She said William Lemp, Jr., had married in 1899, and William J. Lemp III was born on September 26, 1900. Before long, Lillian became known as the Lavender Lady because of her fondness for the color. In addition to her lavender attire and accessories, she went so far as to have her carriage horses' harnesses dyed lavender. In the beginning, Will enjoyed showing off his trophy wife, but Will was a player, born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He was used to doing and acting as he pleased. When William began to tire of his beautiful wife, he demanded that she must spend her time shopping. Allotting her $1,000 a day, he gave her an ultimatum that if she didn't spend it, she would get no more. In the meantime, Will was busy running the brewery during the day and pursuing all manner of decadent activities during the night. Holding lavish parties in the caves below the mansion, he would bring in numerous prostitutes for the entertainment of his friends. Enjoying the swimming pool, the bowling alley, and the free-flowing beer, his friends who attended these lavish events were known to enjoy a high time in the earth below. Will's shenanigans caught up with him when he sired a son with a woman other than his wife. Today there is no official documentation that this boy existed. However, the rumors that this boy was hidden in the mansion attic for his entire life have been prevalent over the years. According to St. Louis historian Joe Gibbons, when he interviewed a former nanny and a chauffeur who worked at the mansion long ago, both of them verified that the boy did exist and was housed in the aquatic quarters that also housed the servants' rooms. Spawned from Will's philandering with either one of the many prostitutes or a mansion servant, the boy was born with Down syndrome. A total embarrassment to the family, the boy was hidden away from the world in order to cloak the Lemp's shame, known today as the monkey face boy. This unfortunate soul continues to show his presence at the Lemp mansion. Finally, William Jr. tired of his trophy wife and filed for divorce in 1908. Why she didn't take this step with all of his goings-on could be nothing more than a sign of the times. The court proceedings surrounding the divorce became a major St. Louis scandal, with all four St. Louis newspapers devoting extensive front-page coverage to the messy affair. The trial opened in February 1909 to crowds that flocked to the courthouse each day to witness the drama of tales of violence, drunkenness, atheism, and cruelty. Hang on. I just wanted to make sure I don't get logged out. Virtually ignoring William's decadent activities, Lillian almost lost custody of William Lemp III because of a photograph that was presented at the trial that showed her smoking a cigarette. In the end, she retained custody of their son, but soon retired from the public eye. The only time that she was ever seen wearing anything other than lavender was on the final day of her divorce proceedings, when she appeared entirely in black before the judge. With the divorce, Will's troubles had only just begun. In 1906, 9 of the large breweries in the St. Louis area had combined to form the Independent Breweries Company, creating fierce competition that the Lemp Brewery had never faced. In the same year, Will's mother died by cancer on April 16th. Though the brewery's fortunes were continually declining, the Lemp Mansion was entirely remodeled in 1911 and partially converted into offices for the brewery. At this time, William allowed the company's equipment to deteriorate without keeping abreast of industry innovations. By World War I, the brewery was just barely limping along. William soon built a country home on the Merrimack River, to which he increasingly retreated, and in 1915 he married for a second time to Ellie Limburg, the widowed daughter of the late St. Louis brewer Caspar Kohler. Then Prohibition came along in 1919. The individual family members were already wealthy, so there was little incentive to keep the brewery afloat. For a time, Will hoped that Congress would repeal Prohibition, but finally gave up and closed the Lemp plant down without notice. The workers learned of the closing when they came to work one day and found the doors shut and the gates locked. On March 20th, 1920, Elsa Lemp Wright, William's sister, the wealthiest heiress in St. Louis, shot herself, just like her father had years before. Elsa was said to have been despondent over her rocky marriage. Liquidating the assets of the plant and auctioning the buildings, William Jr. sold the famous Lemp Falstaff logo to brewer Joseph Griesedijk for $25,000 in 1922. The brewery buildings were sold to the International Shoe Company for $588,000, a fraction of its estimated worth of $7 million in the years before Prohibition. After the end of the Lemp's brewing dynasty, William Jr. slipped into a depression. Acting much like his father, he became increasingly nervous and erratic, shunning public life and often complaining of ill health. On December 29, 1922, William shot himself in the heart with a .38 caliber revolver. I think I have to sneeze. In the very same building where his father had died 18 years before. William II took his life on the main level of the mansion, just inside the entrance to the left. At the time of his death, this room served as his office. He was interred in the family mausoleum at Bellefontaine Cemetery, in the crypt just above his sister Elsa. William's brothers Charles and Edwin had long ago left the family business, so with William Jr. gone, it seemed that the Lemp Empire had finally ended. Edwin had entered into a life of seclusion at his estate in Kirkwood, Missouri, in 1911. Charles had never been involved in the brewery and had chosen to work in the banking and real estate fields instead. In 1943, yet another tragedy occurred when William Lemp III died of a heart attack at the age of 42. Brother Charles eventually remodeled the mansion back into a residence and lived in the house along with 2 servants and the illegitimate child of his brother William. Charles, too, became an odd figure as he grew older. Developing a morbid fear of germs, his obsessive-compulsive behavior included wearing gloves at all times to avoid bacteria and constantly washing his hands. It was during this time that William's illegitimate child, now in his 30s, died at the mansion. He was buried on the Lemp cemetery plot with only a small flat marker with the word Lemp. Shortly after the Monkey Face boy's death, Charles became the fourth member of the Lemp family to commit suicide. First, he shot his beloved Doberman Pinscher in the basement of the mansion. Then, climbing the staircase to his room on the second floor, he shot himself. Charles was discovered on May 10th, 1949, by one of his staff, still holding a .38 caliber Army Colt revolver in his right hand. Though the dog was shot in the basement, he was found halfway up the steps. Of the Lemps, only Edwin Lemp, who had long avoided the life that had turned so tragic for the rest of his family, remained. He was known as a quiet, reclusive man who had walked away from the Lemp Brewery in 1913 to live a peaceful life on a secluded estate in Kirkwood, Missouri. Edwin passed away quietly of natural causes at the age of 80 in 1970. According to Edwin's last wishes, his butler burned all of the paintings that the Lemps had collected throughout his life, as well as priceless Lemp family documents and artifacts. These irreplaceable pieces of history vanished in the smoke of a blazing bonfire. It's a shame he wasn't smarter than to not do that. The Lemp family line died out with him, and the family's resting place can now be found in Bellefontaine Cemetery. We should take a tour there. I know where the cemetery is. After the death of Charles Lemp, the mansion was sold and turned into a boarding house. Along with the nearby neighborhood, the building began to deteriorate, and the haunting tales began. Residents complained of ghostly knocks and phantom footsteps being heard throughout the house. As these stories spread, tenants were hard to find for the boarding house, and it continued to decline to a near flophouse status. Turning these houses into boarding houses must have been the thing to do in St. Louis, because my grandparents' house in Lafayette Square had a house that was turned into a boarding house next door to them. However, in 1975, the old mansion was saved when Dick Pointer and his family purchased it. Immediately, they began to renovate the building, turning it into a restaurant and inn. Workers within the house often told us stories of apparitions, strange sounds, vanishing tools, and a feeling of being watched. Frightened by the hauntings, many would leave the job site, never to return. Since the restaurant opened, staff members have reported several strange experiences. Again, apparitions appear and then quickly vanish, voices and sounds come from nowhere, and the glasses will often lift off the bar, flying through the air by themselves. On other occasions, doors are said to lock and unlock by themselves, lights inexplicably turn on and off of their own free will, and the piano bar often plays when no one is near. Said to be haunted by several members of the Lemp family, there are three areas of the old mansion that have the most activity: the stairway, the attic, and what the staffers refers to as the gates of hell in the basement. In this area of the basement that used to be the entrance to the caves running below the mansion and the brewery, the attic is said to be haunted by William Jr.'s illegitimate son, referred to only as Monkey Face Boy. This poor soul, born with Down syndrome, spent his entire life locked in the attic of the Lemp mansion. Strange occurrences are often witnessed on this third-floor level of the mansion. The face of the boy has regularly been seen from the street, peeking from the small windows of the mansion. Ghost investigators have often left toys in the middle of the room, drawing a circle around them to see if the objects have been moved. Consistently, when they return the next day, the toys are found in another location. In the downstairs women's bathroom, which was once William Jr.'s personal domain and held the first freestanding shower in St. Louis, many women have reported a man peeking over the stall. One such occasion, a woman emerged from the bathroom returning to the bar and stated to the two men she was there with, "I hope you got an eyeful." However, the two men quickly denied ever having left the bar, for which the bartender verified. This ghost is said to be that of the womanizing William Jr. In William Lemp Sr.'s room, guests have often reported hearing someone running up the stairs and kicking the door. When William killed himself, William Jr. was known to have run up the stairs to his father's room and, finding it locked, began to kick the door to get to his father. Several years ago, a part-time tour guide reported hearing the sounds of horses outside the room where William Lemp Sr. had kept his office. However, when the tour guide looked through the window, nothing was there. This area north of the mansion, and now used as a parking lot, was once utilized as a tethering lot for horses. The mansion has been featured in a number of magazine articles and newspapers and now attracts ghost hunters from around the country. Today it features a bed and breakfast with rooms restored in period style, a restaurant featuring fine dining, and a mystery dinner theater. Tours are also available at the mansion. The Lemp Mansion is located at 3322 Demenel Place, a short distance from the Mississippi River. To get there, take Broadway from Interstate 55 and follow that to Cherokee Street. Go west on Cherokee and turn right onto Demenel Place. Legends of America visits the Lemp Mansion. On Saturday, October 9th, 2004, Kathy Weiser and Amy Stark visited the Lemp Mansion along with St. Louis historian Joe Gibbons. Joe has spent many years researching the Lemp Mansion and often gives tours of the inn with the permission and cooperation of the owners. Meeting up with Joe at the bar, we settled in for a bit, pulling on a couple of lagers and chatting it up with Joe. After Joe very kindly introduced us to Patty Pointer, he began to show Amy and I around the mansion. As Joe described in intricate detail the story of the Lemp Mansion, the land on which the mansion stands, and many strange occurrences in the haunted building, our tour took on new members. By the time we reached the attic, there must have been more than 20 of us. While we were on the tour, several strange events occurred. The first was when we were standing in the darkened attic. As Joe described the monkey face boy, I began snapping pictures in the darkened room. Soon, I was approached by a woman who had joined our unofficial tour. She wanted to know if my shadow would appear on the wall when I took a picture. To this I responded, "No, because the flash is in front of me." Perplexed, she continued that when I took one picture in the attic, that she saw the distinct shadow of a person against the wall. Hope against hope, I quickly scrolled back through my digital images to see if a shadow appeared, but there was nothing. Even stranger, another member of the group reported hearing very faint voice of a child saying over and over, "Help me, help me." As we began to make our way back down the stairs and passed by William Lemp Sr.'s room, Amy pulled me aside because the door was standing wide open with the key in the door. Not going in, we just wanted to peek. We continued our journey down the hall when an alarm was raised by the guests of the room. When they had arrived back from dinner, they found the door wide open and were looking for a manager. However, there was no key in the door when they arrived. A manager quickly responded it was impossible that there had been a key in the door, as there were only 2 keys to that room. One was in the hands of the guest, the other in the hands of the manager. So who opened the door, and where was the key that we saw when we passed? Later, several members of the group would describe having passed a man in the hallway holding a key in his hand, and described as acting irritated with the large group moving through the hallway. Described as pale, older, and wearing a white shirt and black pants, no one thought anything of it at the time, believing him to be a member of the staff. However, we could not find that there was any such gentleman working or staying at the mansion that night that met that description. Though no harm was done and nothing was disturbed in the guest room, the whole experience was very bizarre. Next, everyone was congregated around the Charles Lemp room. The guests staying in the room kindly allowed us to enter and look around. Both Amy and I sensed a heaviness in the bedroom area. But this was not the room that Charles shot himself in. Rather, it was the parlor area. One of the women who had joined our group told a story of how she had been married in the mansion a year earlier and had carefully laid her dress and other items on the bed. She then turned away for a moment, but when she turned back, all of the items were scattered. Outside of Charles's room, one of the members of the group reported smelling cigar smoke. On the first level of the mansion, the dining room to the left of the entryway once served as William Lemp II's office, and this is where he killed himself. The corner of the room was his desk, where he sat with his gun in his final moments. The temperature in this corner was considerably colder than the rest of the room. On the wall is the painted portrait of Lillian Lemp, the Lavender Lady. One group member reported having smelled the distinct aroma of lavender while passing her portrait. Readers' experiences at the Lemp Mansion. A couple of weeks ago, now this was submitted in August of 2014. A couple of weeks ago, my husband and I were a part of a large group that dined in the mansion. We were seated straight back from the entrance in a rear dining room. In the past, I have had a number of experiences with spirits from as early back as age 6, and have come to the conclusion that I am far more open to them than most people. We arrived late, so we were quickly whisked back to our table, and throughout our dinner I did not sense anything. However, when leaving, we had an opportunity to linger in the entryway entrance to the dining room that is on the first left of the entrance. I felt something immediately. I can't say that it was negative, but more so nosy and cranky, and I got the strong sense that it was male or masculine. I almost got the sense that he was seeking my attention, and I was drawn to the corner of the room that is diagonal from the entrance to the room. I felt a shiver and immediately developed goosebumps and told my husband there is something or someone in that room. I'm getting major heebies. We just left after I said that, so I did not get more opportunity to explore. Just today I decided to Google the mansion, and lo and behold, that was the William Lemp II's office and where he took his own life. I do want to note that I did not have any sense of the Lavender Lady. However, I did not approach her painting. Thanks for listening to my experience. Well, the Lavender Lady typically isn't, from what I understand, found in that room anyway. Reader submission 2006. I stayed at the Lemp Mansion a few years ago with a friend. In the evening, we took the tour of the mansion, and when it was complete, everyone left, including the employees. We were all alone in the big rambling house, as there were no other guests that night. My friend and I both got the creeps because we wanted to see something so bad that we scared ourselves. It was kind of like when you get the feeling you're being watched. I don't believe in ghosts one way or the other, really, but still, it was fun going around and trying to scare each other. There was only one thing that happened that was kind of strange. We heard a cat meow in the top floor bedroom, the mustard yellow room. We could distinctly hear it from the other side of the bed, but when we looked, there was nothing. The staff had given us a couple of bottles of wine, and after drinking them, I got very brave in the middle of the night. I went up to the attic alone and saw some balloons that were left over from something that had gone on that day. We should probably note that, upstairs is where the kid is. One of them blew right past me, but I think it was the air coming from the heating system. It's an old mansion. It could have been anything, so I didn't freak, but I did go back downstairs. While I was there, I didn't have any problems with my camera, but though there were several photographs on the roll, the only ones with orbs in them were at the mansion. I thought it was watermarks or something. I looked at the other people's orb pictures online, and they all look alike. I'm sure there's an explanation, because I don't think a ghost could show up on film, but here are my photos from that only moment in the balloon. These pictures are both from the attic. The ones with the orb was the only photo in my entire film that had these pictures. Okay, so I'm going to show these pictures. But I have to switch. Okay, so we can see there's at least 3 orbs here. Maybe this might be an orb. And there's an orb there and there. It is interesting. Okay. Okay. Reader submission in 2005. Having chosen a weeknight to spend our anniversary at the Lemp Mansion, which is funny because that's kind of what my story is about, only not my anniversary, we arrived at 3 p.m. and were given the Charles Lemp's room. We planned to eat dinner there that evening, but for some reason the restaurant closed shortly after we arrived, and we were amazed to find that we would be left to spend the night in the entire mansion alone. When we first arrived, we were wandering around on the second floor. My husband mentioned he noticed a sewer odor. I didn't notice it, so I didn't pay any attention. What I have in common with some of the others who have related their experience on this website is that strange, uneasy feeling that someone was watching you. Someone also mentioned a creeped out feeling. These were the exact words I used. Pardon me, I don't know how many times I told my husband that night, I keep getting this creeped out feeling. Another similarity I had was to that of USAF Dwayne's experience in the missing dimes. When we got to our room, I opened the suitcase and took out 2 packages of Fuji brand disposable film. I was struggling to open the packages, so I reached into a Ziploc bag containing cheese and sausage and took out the knife I included with these. I then used it to cut the film package open. Once I took out the knife, we never saw it again. Let me add that this occurred in the very same room Dwayne, with the missing dimes, stayed in, the Charles Lemp room. I had never unpacked our suitcase other than to take the plastic bag out and replace it. Since we were only spending the night, I didn't want to have to rush and pack the following morning. Every time my husband and I returned to our room from roaming about the mansion, one or both of us would look for the knife. We checked and rechecked every surface, the floors, under the beds, sofas, drawers, etc. It was nowhere to be found. What was infuriating is that the room was immaculate, yet it was nowhere and we didn't leave the room with it. As the night progressed, we both became more and more obsessed with the knife's whereabouts. As we roamed about the mansion, we took photos, and as the evening progressed, I too began to notice the odor of sewage. It grew stronger and more prevalent until it appeared to be everywhere, ultimately becoming most noticeable when I decided to go sit in the bar. While sitting at a table in the bar, I had my husband snap a photo of me at the bar and another by the Lemp mirror on the right side of the bar. I then took a picture of the doorway near where the Lemp mirror hung. When these photos came back later from developing, we discovered some rather unusual images. Of the 2 rolls of film, with the exception of the photos taken outside, all of the photos taken in the house had a greenish cast. The photo of the doorway had a strange foggy type smoke that spread from the bar to the doorway along the wall until it formed a full silhouette of a woman I believe to be the Lavender Lady. This past October 2004, my husband and I attended Lemp Mansion's Halloween party where he took a picture of me standing in the bar's doorway. As you may recall, I mentioned the woman's silhouette previously occupied this very spot. When we got the film back, this photo contains a huge orb just off to the right of me. My sentiment about staying at the Lemp when we left was similar to that of USAF retiree Dwayne's sentiment. As we headed out the door and down the stairs toward the sidewalk to our car, I was relieved to be going home and swore I'd never return. Needless to say, my husband and I frequently eat at the restaurant and have now decided to make it the place we go to celebrate Halloween. But as to whether I'll spend another night there, not unless another couple goes with us. Oh, and by the way, we never did find the knife. That was submitted in July of 2005. About the author of this, I have all kinds of strange paranormal activity captured on film. Some of the more interesting is from this apartment that we lived in for the past 5 years. The Lemp Mansion and a storefront in Soulard. I have researched the area that we live in, and now I understand why I have the type of phenomena I have had occurring. What I have found in the area is that historically it has housed a poorhouse, an insane asylum, an amusement park, and a doctor that ran a medical college that brought body snatching not only to his medical students, but to St. Louis and literature. It makes sense now. So I have a submission 2005. My husband, 2 teenage daughters, and I. Hi, Julie T. I hope you're doing well today. Happy Halloween. My husband, 2 teenage daughters, and I spent the night at the Lemp Mansion after having a camping trip rained out. It was so much better than camping. It was like being on an overnight ride at Disneyland. First off, Patty Pointer and the staff were the most fun innkeepers we ever had. They took great care of us, and the other hosts were fun too. They didn't let us down. My oldest daughter had just finished dressing for dinner when she turned to put her things in her suitcase. Suddenly, she heard a creaking noise and turned to find that the medicine cabinet had opened on its own. This was in the Charles Lemp suite. The door of the cabinet had a latch that could not have fallen open. While we were there, we had an overwhelming feeling of being watched. Though a little disconcerting, the feeling was not a bad one, more like protective. The medicine cabinet incident struck us as funny because she was dressing for dinner, and when the cabinet opened, it was full of soap, as if someone was saying, "You need to soap. There is some soap in here." We can't wait to go to do this again, and we would recommend it to anyone looking for something different to do. That was also in July of 2005. About the author, I am a yoga instructor and a bit of a ghost hunter. I've always been open-minded to the other side. We have raised our children to know that ghosts are just a part of living and we should respect their space as if we were visiting anyone alive. Okay, so looks like we have a couple more submissions here. This is 2004. I think I'm going to, although these have ads. This is why I hate showing these, but I kind of want the pictures. Okay. So my name is Renee and I have family in St. Louis, Missouri. So when we visit, my husband and I, along with my brother and cousin, make a trip to the Lemp Mansion when we're in the area. Our last visit was on March 24th of 2003. We arrived at the mansion around 8:30 p.m. to find out that a show and dinner party was in effect. However, we were told that we could look around on the main floor and upstairs. Neither my husband or myself had ever been in the attic. So that's the first place we headed. Already creeped out because the dark and silence, our group soon reached the end of the long hall where the monkey boy was kept. However, as we turned around to leave, all four of us got instant chills, and we heard a little boy say, "Come play with me." I told my brother to shut up, and he responded, "I didn't say anything." That's when the boy repeated himself again. I then turned to my husband, saying the same thing to him as I had to my brother, and he said, "That wasn't me. It's time to go." That was the first encounter in my 10 years of visiting the Lemp Mansion, and I hope there will be more. I'm fascinated with ghosts. For Thanksgiving 2004, we'll be making a trip to Missouri again, and hopefully we'll bring back good stories. I have not been to this part. However, I definitely would be interested in taking a look at that. Okay, reader submission from 2006. I visited the Lemp Mansion in January of 2003 with my aunt. We arrived in early and had lunch at the Lemp Mansion before checking out the sights of St. Louis. We too were shocked that we were given a key and told we'd be alone that night in the mansion. We were the only ones staying there that night, mind you, but didn't know this at the time. I assumed someone lived there, and they meant alone as in no other guests. I felt uneasy right away the second I got to the top of the stairs. My aunt seemed okay and wanted to explore, but I felt this heaviness. The hallway off to the left of the stairs was the worst. My body just would physically not go in that hallway. We had reservations at a comedy club that night, so we decided to take a nap. An hour into my nap, I awoke to the sound of a baby crying and a woman talking. I got a little irritated because it was right outside our room. We were in the big suite, the lavender ladies' room. And how rude it was of this woman to just stand up there and make all that noise. What does this say? I guess I have some skipped frames going on. Hopefully that'll end. But then it stopped and I went back to sleep. When we got up, we found two women downstairs taking down the Christmas decorations, and we got to talking to them. That was when we learned we were the only ones there that night, and I asked the woman to leave the light on in the dining room so it wouldn't be pitch black when we got in that night from the comedy club. The woman told us their experiences, and we laughed. Offhanded, I mentioned that they were the ones with the baby. If they were the ones with the baby. I heard crying at 5 p.m. and was told promptly there was no one else there but them after 3 p.m. and definitely no baby. I felt silly for even thinking I have heard such a thing and was convinced these women were trying to scare us. That night, when we got back, we were alone. My aunt wanted to explore, but that uneasy feeling was overwhelming to me. When we went into the other bedrooms and walked around, the bedroom across from the suite was so heavy feeling. My aunt went towards the hallway and went to look into the other rooms, but I could not get my body into that hallway. I stopped halfway in and watched my aunt peeking into the rooms. She got to the end of the hallway and bent over to peer into the staircase, and a shadow went past me. But I was looking right at my aunt's shadow. Well, I freaked out and demanded we call it a night. The uneasy feeling never left me, and when we went to bed, I too was too scared to sleep. The final straw came when the piano began to play. I was done. My aunt gave me a Valium to help me sleep. Yes, now I find these events funny, very funny, but at the time, not so funny. After that, I was out, head under the covers and asleep. My aunt says that during the night she awoke to someone petting her hair. She thought I was messing with her and turned over to find me completely out and turned the other way. She turned back over and said a few minutes later it happened again. She said she never felt scared and that it felt comforting to her. Mind you, this is a 55-year-old psychiatrist. When I got home, I searched my suitcase for my phone, but it wasn't in there. I called the Lemp Mansion and they sent someone up to look, but it wasn't there. I called the rental car company and they couldn't find it in the car. I ended up having my phone turned off, convinced someone had it. When the bill came in later, we realized all the phone calls had come at exactly at 38 minutes after the hour and all to my husband's phone. Now, I don't get that, but I do know that it was creepy. People say that the people at the mansion probably did it on purpose. Whatever the case, I still find the situation disturbing. But will I go back again someday? You bet. But I will make sure my cell phone stays on my person this time. Okay, so here's one from 2004. My name is Kristen, and I met Kathy Weiser of Legends of America on October 9th at the Lemp Mansion. My husband and I were staying in the William Lemp suite and joined the tour of the mansion. Other than not being able to sleep until after 3 a.m., I was unbelievably hot, probably from adrenaline. Not too much happened. We took a tour of the house by ourselves after the staff left. There was definitely a feeling of being watched, although a big old house like that late at night, I guess it's to be expected. I did, however, have 4 orbs show up in my photos. One on the grand staircase, 2 the basement bar right below the stored wine bottles, 3 our room in the curtain window overlooks the main street, and 4 in Charles Lemp room top right corner of the armoire. I was extremely skeptical about orbs. Taking the suggestion from a website, I looked through all of my personal photos from the past to see if maybe there were orbs that I had not noticed before. I found none. Now I have 4 on 1 roll of film. Okay, let's see if we can. Here we go. This is 2004 submission. We recently visited the mystery play dinner and bed and breakfast at the Lemp Mansion. I am a 50-year-old male, USAF retired with a master's degree in IS, simply for credibility purposes. This is the one that the other one that we read was mentioning, I suppose. We enjoyed the play and food. However, we'll never go back for a night's stay. First of all, the breakfast had much to be desired. Second, we could not sleep due to an uneasy feeling of being watched. I had a bad dream and woke up several times during the night. My wife could not sleep either. We strongly believe we had a door to our room unlocked after we locked it when we came back from the shared bathroom down the hall. We also dropped 2 coins in a 10 by 10 open area, and when we knelt down to pick them up, they were gone. We looked throughout the entire area and under the furniture that was several feet away and still could not find the coins. This was in William Lemp's bedroom. An interesting stay that we do not intend on repeating. Okay, so now what I want to do, I'm going to pull up the Lemp Mansion's website. Oh. Okay. Before I tell you. So, they changed their website. Video gallery. Photo gallery. I think I need to... I feel like I need to resize this. Let's see. This is a video. I want the photo gallery first. Okay. Oh, this is certainly not what it looks like when you go for the dinner theater. This is the main stairway up to the rooms that you rent. This is off to the right because this is the room that we have eaten in twice now. This is the other room. That looks like the bathtub. This is how they set it up for the dinner theater. I have not been in that room either. Okay. This is the room I've eaten in twice. And this is the bar. Okay. I want to see if I can find... I wonder if they have any... I don't... I wanted to see if they had pictures of the room. Let's try this. That's outside. Grand Hall. Oh, Lord. They got a lot of pictures here. I have not been in there. Looks pretty awesome. I want to go and take the tour, like the sneaky tour, the nighttime tour. It's like the haunted tour, but they only do that, I think they do that once a month. Yeah, here's the ghost tours. They, so what happened last year, I'm going to look to see if I can find, they have some pictures of some of the rooms somewhere. Last year for my parents' wedding anniversary, my sister and I decided to let's see if this will work. My sister and I decided to treat my parents to dinner, the murder mystery dinner. So we bought 4 tickets. My sister, myself, my mom, my dad. We went to the dinner, and we rented them the room up here for the night. and we got there early so that they could. Oh goodness, how do we do this? Floor selector. Floor 2. Can we, did it select it? I want floor 2. Oh, I wonder if I have to go in like there. Why is that not working? I want to go, yep, up the steps. There we go. So we rented them a room. We get there early so we could check in. Wait, this is kind of slow. I want to go up there. There's no circle up there to go up there. There we go. So we go and we check them in, and we are checking out the room, and my dad gets out his phone and start taking pictures. I know. And my mom's taking pictures, my sister's taking pictures. Boy, this thing is really slow. And we're in the front room. My dad's in where the bedroom is. I'm trying to get us up so we can go to the room. And let's try there. Can we? No. Can we tilt down the other way? No, not that way. I'm wondering if I think we might have gotten turned down too much. So my dad starts having problems with his camera, well, his phone. And he's like, he was taking a picture of the, can we go in here, please? Will it let us? And I went over to look at his phone, and his battery was, what is this? View in VR. Well, I don't know how anybody would view it in VR when this is so slow. Google Cardboard. What is Google Cardboard? That's funny. No, I don't want to do that now. How do I get out? So I took his phone and his battery was like dead. And I told him, I said, plug it in. Plug it in and charge it. It'll be fine. He plugs it in. As soon as he plugs it in, it says he's got 100% battery life. And he's like, Kim, this is weird. And I said, well, okay. So I said, just, leave it plugged. He takes it unplugged, and he's trying to show me the pictures that he took on the phone, and I'm looking at the pictures, and I'm trying to pull them up, and like at least one of the pictures he said he took completely disappeared. The other ones I tried to pull up. I get them pulled up, and I texted them to my mom, my sister, and myself. And while I was doing that, the phone drained again and said it was at like 18% charge. So I got the pictures sent to us, and we could look at the pictures on our phone. The pictures were, the best way I can describe it, I have to pull them off the cloud to be able to really show um, the pictures. But like when you have old film developed and it kind of has splotches and like the old TVs when they would start going out and they had the lines, it was kind of like that. And I thought, well, that's really weird. And it was only the pictures that he took of the light fixture. Now you have to understand why my dad would take pictures of light fixtures. This is an old house and they live in a very old house. And so they have like similar light fixtures to what is in here. They're fixtures that used to be gas lights, and then when electricity came about, they some of the lights they changed to electric, and some um, uh, gas. And I'm gonna quit trying to do that. Um, and then I think I have some dropped frame rates. I guess it's because of that thing. Yeah. Um, so I told him to plug in his phone and leave it plugged in. And he didn't need his phone when we went to dinner. I said just leave it there and go back up. And my mom's pictures, my sister's pictures, my pictures, no problems. Um, they were just fine. Only the one pictures that my dad took of this light fixture. So we went and we had dinner. We had a good time. They went back to their room. The very next morning, I called them to make sure that they were okay. And um, they, my mom said, you know, yeah, they were fine. They made it through the night, and